welcome back. And in case you just joined, you're listening to Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. And it is Front Page Review, where we are looking at news making round on Nigeria's major daily here in the studio. And my name is Aliu Doma. By the way, it's time for me to link up with our guest analyst, Mr. Rufai Oseni. I'm trying to establish contact with Mr. Rufai. All right, he has joined. Hello, good morning, Mr. Rufai.
Bless you, my brother. Bless you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Bless you too. All right, a lot to look at this morning from the pages. Obi won't get Labour Party ticket 2027. Apapa faction vows.
At least they should wait for 2027 first.
Mr. Rufai, let me give you the details of what they are saying. The Lamidi Apapa faction of the Labour Party has advised the 2023 presidential candidate of the party, Peter Obi, to seek another political party to pursue its presidential ambition ahead of the 2027 election. The Apapa faction, whose authenticity was recently affirmed by the Edo Division of the Court of Appeal, said it had started shopping for another presidential candidate ahead of the 2027. And this was said by the faction spokesperson Abayomi Arabambi, who made it known yesterday exclusively to Punch, where he spoke against the backdrop of the appeal filed by Obi at the Supreme Court on Tuesday to challenge the verdict of the Presidential Election Petition Court, which reaffirmed President Bola Tinubu as the winner of the 2023 election. And now the Apapa-led faction of the Labour Party has distanced itself from the decision of Obi and Julius Abure faction to challenge Tinubu's victory in the court.
Obviously, you know what's happening. It's all politicking. You know, they were never there to support their own Labour Party candidate. They were just there to scuttle his chances, you know. And you see, in politics, people get used for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah.
But I think what he should be saying,
yeah,
he's not even thinking of 2027, because as we speak today in Nigeria, we're in dire straits. I'm not sure you understand what it means for dollar to the naira to now hit 990. All right. I'm not sure.
Before coming on air, I was telling someone here that we're already there. That 1,000 naira projection, we are there already.
I mean, I'm not sure you get it all. I'm not sure you understand how dire straits things are. I'm not sure you understand the fact that after the president announced subsidy gone, he has gone back to paying subsidy, and that's why we kept on telling that he didn't think about the decision properly before he announced subsidy gone. And now we are back to square one paying subsidy. NNPC did not remit money to FACO. And a source, as this day reported, said that the truth is subsidy is back. So you see, these are more issues that I believe that those political actors should talk about, rather than talking about 2027. At least let's even see how we can get by 2023 to 2024 first. So those are issues. I know that the issues we should talk about.
This one, as Yoruba will call it, will say it wala owa.
No, but not give what's it called, media airtime to sensation. All those ones are sensation. Let's talk about the real issues. That's just it.
All right, let's take a look at this one on the Punch newspaper that says Buhari ruined security architecture through nepotism, Shidoka alleges.
Okay, and the level of what is happening,
Chief Osita,
and the level of what is happening now is not nepotism. So you see, the problem with all of us in the country, we are hypocritical. When our man is there, we force ourselves there. When Jonathan was there, Jonathan was also accused of this nepotism, that he was a government of the Igbo people by the Igbo people because he packed a lot of people there. Buhari packed a lot of houses. President Tinubu is already doing this, packing a lot of people from the southwest. I'm a southwest man, Yoruba man by extraction, but I say no to nepotism. I say no to it because I know it doesn't build a nation. Go and check every nation that has grown in the world grew due to inclusion. Diversity of ideas in governance, diversity of ideas everywhere. Do you know how America grew? America grew when it opened its door down to those scientists that they chased out of Germany during the war. Those Jewish scientists. And those are the people that worked on grand projects in America. The likes of Albert Einstein and the likes. They made America. Look at America today. Most of the key tech founders are not American. Originally, Steve Jobs, his name is Steve Jandali. His father was from Syria. He was just adopted by an American family. Jeff Bezos Originally, his father was Norwegian. I can go on and on and on and on. See, President of Microsoft at the point, CEO Satya Nadella, originally is from India. Sundar Pichai, head of Google, originally is from India. Indra Nooyi, former head of Pepsi, originally is from India. Ajay Banga, former head of MasterCard, now president of World Bank, American nominee, president of World Bank, originally is from where? India. The last presidential nominee of World Bank to the World Bank that America sent originally was from Korea. Inclusion, diversity.
Yeah.
A country grow better because no two experiences are the same.
Of course, of course.
Look at President Biden's cabinet. A lot of people of original Nigerian extraction there. Look at Wali Adeyemo, Deputy Secretary Trade, Secretary of State that came recently.
Yeah.
Originally was born and grew up in Ibadan. That's what I'm going to say after that.
Result.
So if Chiloka is blaming Buhari, we too will say the government that he served, President Goodluck Jonathan was complicit. People too can also argue that most of the security executive went to Igbo people. Yeah, because the nepotism is writ large across board.
But is that how we will develop?
My brother, didn't you hear all the things I said just now?
I do.
Is that how a nation?
Of course I do.
Is that how a nation developed?
Certainly not.
Why did I go citing America, citing Nigeria? Is that how a nation developed?
I'm just trying to reflect on what he said.
A nation doesn't develop that way. A nation develops with inclusion. That's what a nation does to develop. That's why I said all the things I said.
You brought us to the issue of dollar. Talking about forex, we have this headline that says Naira tumbles to 980 to the dollar. Forex shortage worsens. The Naira continued its downward trend after exchanging to the dollar at 980 at the parallel market on Wednesday. A week earlier, the Naira exchanged to the dollar at 950 Naira to the dollar. Bureau de change operators who spoke to the Punch attributed the fall to scarcity of foreign currency. I
mean, my brother Aliyu, is that not what we've been saying all this while? Is that not what we've been saying? You are an accountant.
Yeah, Mr. Rufai, I want to. I want to have your perspective or your view on this issue of Dangote refinery, because part of the reason they gave now that they want to import crude oil from outside Nigeria because NNPC have other commitment with other entities with regard to arrangement of crude. What does that? What signal does that send to you?
I'm going to explain everything. Let me now take the dollar first, because that's the first question you asked. Number one, for you to be able to float your currency, you need to have arsenal to defend. Western nations, industrial nations, what can float is that constantly they have companies that is bringing more foreign exchange into them, so they can balance their balance of payment out. We were highly dollarized, and we don't have companies that bring in a lot of revenue in USD. Our greatest dollar earner is crude oil. So stretched on that regard. And that's why anytime our reserve increase due to crude oil price go up, we enjoy. We can defend better. But we can't even do that because that same crude oil we export, crude oil theft has taken most of it away. So we are not reaching production quotas and all of that.
Yeah.
Vis-a-vis all of this, we have an NNPC that's been shrouded in a lot of conundrum that need to explain to us. So the problem is, we need to be able to forensically audit the NNPC. Do you know that the report came out? Nieti was saying that most of the money NNPC even gets from crude oil swap, they don't remit it. And let me tell you the history of crude oil swap.
Yeah.
When the still had refinery working in the late 80s into the 90s, the government set aside 445,000 barrels every day to be taken out of our production, to be given to our local refineries to be able to produce.
Yeah.
Because that was the capacity of our local refineries. It was a convention to be able to ensure energy security. Aliyu, ask me, does every nation do it? Yes. Every nation does it. America, after the Yom Kippur Wars in the 70s, had something they call Strategic National Reserve, where they built big domes and store oil in molten salt. At the height of the reserve, they have capacity for over 700 million barrels. So anytime crude oil price is down, America buys and store in there. Anytime crude oil price is up, do you know what America does?
No.
They go to take from there to be able to cushion the effect on the local market. It's a form of subsidy.
Yeah, it is.
So Nigeria too was doing the same for the local refinery. But over the years, when corruption entered NNPC, they bastardized our refineries. The refinery was not working. So these same people in the NNPC now said, okay, that's normal allocation we used to give to our local refineries. Let's now take it to go and give refineries abroad and swap with products or sell it. It is in the selling by brother that the corruption started. So till today, because there's no level of accountability, NNPC will not be able to tell you the full amount they are selling and they are receiving. So it is those swap agreements that is now making NNPC say they don't have enough available. But you see, there's also a difference, because we used to provide over 2 million barrels per day.
Yeah.
Out of that, they will take 445,000 barrels per day for swap. Now we are producing, at a point we're producing less than a billion. Now we're producing about 1.1, 1.2.
Yes.
Out of that, you take 445,000 for swap, and you've already signed contracts, because you have to sign long-term contract. Then you have a shortfall. But the real corruption is going on in the swap, and that's why you see, despite the fact that NNPC is a shareholder in Dangote, they can't even meet the demand of Dangote, which is a shame, because Dangote now needs, at full capacity, refinery would like to crack 650. The capacity is to crack 650,000 barrels per day.
Yes.
Which is another 200 yuan. So that's why they're saying Dangote will now have to import to be able to buy from other places, so that they will be able to produce. So I'm sure you get the full picture of what is happening now. But NNPC needs to come clean on the level of accountability as regards the crude swap deals. Nieti is saying that NNPC is to come clean on how much is remitting based on the crude swap deals. That's the conundrum, bro.
All right, but now Mr. Rufai,
you see why we tell people to go to POP in the morning, because they can't get this analysis elsewhere. You see why we say people to listen to POP.
Of course.
They can't get this. There's no radio station that is talking it this way in Abuja as we speak.
I'm sure of that. And now this issue, by the fact that Dangote refinery will have to import crude, will that still give Nigerians a reduction in price of petrol after production?
Yes. Because when it brings in crude, it cracks it. All right. When it cracks the crude, the other charges that are being paid here and there will not be as the charges that are paid on refining. So local refining is still the order of the day. It's not going to be a big difference, though, because there's going to be marginal price differences. It's still going to be dominated by international crude price, but there's going to be marginal price differences. Because it even depends on the kind of crude it's bringing in. I'll give you an instance.
Okay.
Some refineries are built to crack hard crude from Venezuela and the likes. Take for instance Kaduna refinery. Its specification was built to crack hard crude. It is not every crude that is $95 per barrel.
Yes, of course.
I don't know if you get my point.
Of course. Brent is the benchmark for the price.
Brent is just the benchmark.
Yes.
West Texas Intermediate is lower than that. Our budget light is plus $2 or $2.5 ahead of Brent.
Yes.
It's just a benchmark. All right.
Yeah.
So if they bring it in, all right, and they channel out their cost and all of that, then we should be able to let them. But NNPC must be able to come clean, because that provision is supposed to be, now that we are enjoying that we have the refineries to crack the crude that we set aside, that where is that crude? NNPC must be able to come clean all the swap deals and even remit the money first, and then now show us the crude for.
Hello?
I can hear you.
All right. Thank you. I hope you're through with that.
Yes, and that's why I keep on saying, apart from subsidy, the problem is also the integrity of NNPC.
Yes, of course. Talking about integrity, Mr. Rufai, there is this headline that was making around yesterday, where reps frowned over sale of 82 vehicles for 5.8 million naira by the massa. A lot of question mark on that particular transaction there. Also today we have another headlines that says reps squeeze NPA over sale of 16 vessels at 156 million naira. What is your position about these two stories? Because NIMASA and NPA, the same industry, and now they are being quizzed for similar acts. This one's auctioned 82 vehicles for 5.6 million naira. I don't know how they end up arriving at the prices, even though.
Oh my God, the corruption in this country. How can you auction 82 for 5.2 million naira? How can you sell over 100? How many 16 vessels for 156 million? What is happening?
I mean,
the level of corruption. Oh my God! I think they should just investigate and get to the end of the matter.
When I saw one of the Hilux van was sold for 96,000 naira. In that yes, yes,
and they've not used that for 4 years old.
Oh my goodness, Nigeria. We will continue to really bring some of these stories up for the public to know what is really happening in this country. I think when we continue to do that, it's going to go a long way in making Nigerians to start asking questions. All right, let's move to Kano. All right.
You see, the problem is the lack of accountability, and you've just seen it. Move to Kano.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about Kano.
Yeah, Kano election tribunal yesterday in a virtual judgment read that Abba Yusuf is not the winner of the election. It is indeed Dr. Ibrahim Gawuna of the APC that won that particular election. Let's have your comprehensive overview about that.
Okay. Couple of things. The truth has to be said. Number one, the tribunal has ruled it will go up for appeal.
Yeah.
People in Kano should keep please, no violence, because there's already a 24-hour curfew.
Yeah.
The cases that were sent to court was that they said that the NNPP candidate was not on the register of the party, was not a member of the party, ran for the election, and they said there was overvoting, and a couple of ballot papers were not stamped and all of that. So they deducted 5,000 votes. And they pulled it out and they declared the other man, the APC man, the winner.
Yeah.
Let's just all keep calm. All right.
Yeah.
So, truth has to be said. Let's just keep calm. Let it go to the appeal. All eyes on the judiciary. It is well.
All right. All eyes on the judiciary. This story is on the Vanguard. Mobad celebrities, youth, fans storm Lagos, Osun Delta as protests enter day 2. Let's have your updates on this, Mr. Rufai.
Nationwide protest. Yeah. It was a sad thing when the man died. Stories have been emerging, but the police said they're going to investigate. Let them investigate and come to the end of all of this. If you had petitioned the police before now, why didn't they investigate until he died? Why did they wait until he died before they investigate? But what I'm just going to say is, let's take action. And part of the action was what I did yesterday. VOP Abuja, we're going to be opening our doors. In fact, we're going to plan, what is it called, a music fest, where talents probably should call the radio station and just sing, and we can, or people that have songs, bring your songs on there, we play and we promote them, because we need to build ecosystem for our entertainment sector.
Yeah.
And you that across Abuja and Lagos, I've constantly talked about it on air. Secondly, we need to be able to plan to develop our entertainment sector in such a way that the artists know their rights, so that they won't be at the beck and call of anybody. They know their rights, they get their law. And I'd like to advise every musician, from the day you release your first album, register a company. Even if it's a small company, it's better you talk to promoters as an entity yourself rather than just an individual. Yeah. So register a company. And also from time to time, we're going to be getting people out there to come and give advisory to artists. The business of what they need to learn is the business of music and all of that. Creatives don't understand the business angle; they just get carried away. But
with the talent,
every gift God has given you should be shown out to. And we're going to VOP. Lots of people are going to lead the vanguard on this. I started on my social media page. I posted, what we'll be doing. I've told artists to keep training their songs, and we played a lot of independent artist music, and also trying to build an ecosystem. We want to be part of this, and it's so sad Mohbad had to die on all of this. But all of this are still allegations. Let the police investigate and come back to us.
All right, finally, before I let you go, on The Guardian, we have this Labour faults fresh plot to privatize unity schools. Organized labor under the auspices of Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria has raised the alarm over fresh moves to sell off the country's 110 unity schools, otherwise known as federal government colleges. Mr. Rufai, let's have your opinion on this. Will this be a good move or a bad one? Hello? Oh my goodness, we lost that connection with Mr. Rufai, and I don't think if he will be able to continue the conversation, because time is already not our friend. As always, he usually leaves us around this moment. But let's quickly take a look at this story before we wrap up the show today. Organized labor under the auspices of Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria has raised the alarm over fresh moves to sell off the country's 110 unity schools, otherwise known as federal government colleges nationwide. Faulting the move, ASCSN advised those interested in running secondary schools to build theirs. The association's Secretary General Joshua Apapa lamented that more than 10 years after the union stalled plans to sell the 110 federal government colleges, the collective wealth of millions of Nigerians to the privileged few, the matter was rearing its ugly head again. He alleged that in Nigeria, portfolio-carrying investors always connive with greedy politicians to convert public companies and institutions into their private estates under the dubious public-private partnership PPP model. To this end, he called on the trade union movement, royal fathers, religious organizations, civil society groups, parent teachers associations, and student unions, amongst others, to unite as they did more than 10 years ago to prevent a situation where federal government colleges will be sold to few parasitic individuals. He alleged that once the schools are ceded to private entrepreneurs, they will become money spinners, and as such would be out of the reach of millions of Nigerian children whose parents and guardians would not afford exorbitant fees that will be imposed on them. Of course, this is timely apt, and I think it is okay for us to stop here because time is up for the show today. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for watching. If you in case missed out anything on the program, you can do well to get a recap of what we discussed completely on our YouTube channel, Voice of the People Abuja. The video is there, you can go check it out. All the analysis we've got up to when Mr. Rufai Oseni joined us on the show, you can get that, revisit that, watch and get all the points and perspective of Mr. Rufai Oseni on the program. My name is Ali Udoma, and top of the hour 8 will be time for Igbo Amaka front page review, but this time around in Igbo language. But before then, I'm going to pay some bills because it is good for us to sell market. In fact, talking about selling market, if you want to advertise or sponsor anything on our platform, you're welcome. We have an open door policy. If you come